Well, we've had a good day. I'm going to give you the goal tip. Tip number 5 for your goal setting. And then we'll get into, we'll have to jump into the revelation grace next week. So number 5 is very simple. Let's go. And number 5 tip is roles versus rules. When you think about an actor, the best actors in the world don't just learn their lines, they become the person. They become the person that they're going to portray. When Sylvester Stallone he wrote Rocky, and he wanted to play Rocky, and he was broke, he was trying to sell, he was selling off everything. The story is that he even sold his dog in order to pay for his food and just to survive. And then he was pitching this movie Rocky. Really, in the first part, no one wanted it. Then he ended up selling. Someone wanted the story Rocky, but he wanted to play it, and they said you can't be Rocky. They didn't like the way he looked. They didn't like They didn't like him as the character Rocky, but he needed to. He needed to. In his mind, he was Rocky. And so he had already had the role, already positioned himself. So in this selling off everything, finally has an opportunity to produce it. Long story made short is he ends up doing Rocky. He ends up playing Rocky part, producing it, and it takes off. Makes his money, goes back and buys his dog back. Wonderful story, beautiful. But the fact is he had to get into the role, and he didn't want anyone else to be in the role. He already had the role. Now, in order to get in that role, you may need to know the rules, but the rules are not what makes you powerful. It's the imagination of you being in that role. What does it feel like to be a coach? What does it look like to be a coach? How do I live in this being a coach? Whenever I'm moving one person from one level to another level, I'm actually talking the role and not the rules. Now, every part has a rule. I mean, that's the script. The script is my rule. If we watch a movie and we see it and we go, that person's character is not realistic, I just don't get it from them. That's because that person knows all the rules of their character, but they don't know the role. They've never given themselves, they haven't come and live in that space. A lot of actors like Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is a role based actor. You'll see him dressed like a pirate in interviews. He is always in it, right? He's always in it until he's into something else. Well, that's how you become, yes, a method actor. That's how you become the role. So if you want to be a millionaire, you have to become the role. And even better than a millionaire, because a millionaire is just a state of having enough level of influence. But if you want to be a bodybuilder, you have to be a bodybuilder. Don't think about, I'm going to drink this much, eat this much, and do this. If you think about the role, then you know the role. I am a bodybuilder. In the moment you start to take on that role, I am a bodybuilder, immediately the rules come into play. People focus on the rules more than they focus on the role. And the way to reach your goal is to stop looking for the goal, know the rules of the goal. My goal is I want to lose weight. My goal is I want to make this amount of money. I know those are the outcomes, but what are the true rules of losing weight? The true rules of losing weight is I have to put less calories. I have to burn more calories than I take in, right? I have to burn more than what stays in my body, right? So I need to know that. Now that's overall basic rule. Then we put in more rules like I'm going to be keto or I'm going to do whatever this. These are the rules, but those rules don't work because a person doesn't take on a role. They don't take on a role. They don't take on a role. I'm a bodybuilder. I am a fitness something. And so when you know this, you have to take on the role. I'm a bodybuilder is a really good one because I am a bodybuilder gives you an image of what your outcome is. It gives you an image of what your life is going to be like. It gives you a very specific idea. I'm going to lift weights. I'm going to eat a certain way. I'm going to drink a certain amount of water. I'm going to get a certain amount of sleep, and I'm going to have a certain amount of. It's already built in rules. So when you see that, when you have a role that you want to take on, know that the rules are already built in the role. Now, if you have rules, the role is not already built in. So people do their best trying to be the rules. And the rules are like a B actor trying to manifest an incredible part. right? It's like a horrible thing. You're like, going, oh my goodness, this is so awful, so bad. It's like a Christian movie, right? It's like, it's just, sorry, that slipped out. That slipped right out of my mouth there, right? The fact is like, okay, you don't believe it yourself. I can't believe you, right? And the fact is the more you believe that you are that person, the more you actually be that person, and the more you present yourself as that person, and people believe you. People don't believe you. If they don't buy from you, they don't believe you. If they don't go with you, they don't believe you. And if they don't believe you, it's because you don't believe in yourself. And if you don't believe it yourself, you haven't given yourself to the role. You're still putting on instead of I am. When Jesus was asked, who do they say that I am? He's not saying who do they say I am. He's not saying who do they think I am. He's saying who do they say I, the Son of Man, am. He knows exactly who he is. He's in a role. And so all the goals are going to be fulfilled when you're in the role. So in this, it's very important. Don't just know the techniques of something, know the role of something. Don't just know the rules of something, know the roles of something. So try to create that image. Try to create that image. There was in the study of the power of your energy and the strength and the power of engagement like this. There's some postures, some stances that give you certain infusion of hormones in your body. So they found if you sit slumped like this, your body, if your shoulders are down, you don't give yourself confident hormones. If you sit like slumped down like this, most young people sit like that, which is amazing because we have a lot of young people who don't have good confidence because they sit all slunched and their shoulders down. Their confidence, their body is not able to feed them the right hormones to actually feel confident. So they feel insecure and they wonder why they feel insecure. And the more insecure they feel, the more slumped down they go. But they have found in study that if you just pull your shoulders back, sit up straight, immediately your hormones of confidence start to change. And then there is a Superman posture. I mean, you've heard me talk about the Superman posture. The Superman posture, the Wonder Woman posture, is when you put your hands on your hips and you pull your shoulder back. You always see Superman standing like that, Wonder Man. And that gives you a confidence boost in your hormones. Your hormones take over and they make you feel more bold and confident. So when you are feeling like you are discouraged, then change your posture. Take on that Superman position, put your fist on your hips and stand with your chest out, your shoulders wide. Immediately your hormones will kick up and you'll take on the stage. I'll do it before I get on stage. I'll do it before I get in. If I'm speaking in a big place, I mean, I'll literally go, I'll be in the back and I'm posing. I mean, you got to take on the poser and you've got to be able to get into the role. And I'll see myself while that influence of right hormones are kicking into my body. I'll see myself as being the best speaker in the world. I'll see myself as being the most dynamic communicator, never, right? And so you'll see yourself as the best in the world. Whatever it is, when your hormones are working, you have to feed your mind with the right role. So feed your mind. So you have your mind working, you have your hormones working, you have your posture working for you. You're feeding your body everything, your mind everything, and get into the role. When you get into that role, your role will now be body, soul, and spirit. You'll be locked into it, and you'll walk in it. You'll walk in it. You'll be courageous. You'll be an overcomer. Does it make sense? So give yourself to the role. Meditate on the role. When I'm working with people to become from this to this, I'll say, okay, what do you want to become? I want to become a billionaire. I want to become a millionaire. I want to become a powerful person, whatever it is. Okay, so let's imagine what that is. And what I'm imagining is I know that they told me that they want to be a millionaire. I'm like, okay, so how does a millionaire wake up? What am I doing? I'm taking it from the rules to the role. And I want to start it off with your day. How does a millionaire wake up? A millionaire wakes up like, if you're a millionaire, what are you going to do that day? How's your day start? Well, I start off with, my alarm. Okay, what kind of alarm clock does a millionaire use? Okay, we use this. Okay, what kind of toothbrush does a millionaire use? What am I doing? I'm building a role in them. I'm actually taking them out of the rules, and they're thinking about how they're going to walk. They're thinking about how they're going to talk. Okay, so you're in the car. What kind of car did you get into? Well, I got into an Escalator. I got into this. Okay, that's great. You're going to drive that all the way to your work, and are you listening to anything on the way to work? Yeah, I'm listening to audiobooks. Okay. So are you I'm taking them out and I'm literally spending an hour with them building a role. And I just will ask questions one after another. Okay. So then when you get out of the car and you walk into your office, who's the first person you see? Well, my receptionist there. Okay, what do you say to that person? How does a millionaire greet a receptionist that's helping them make $1 million? How do you, right? How does that person? Well, I'm going to say hello, and then they go through this role. What am I doing? I'm building an image in their mind. I'm giving them the right words to build the right image, to build the right posture, to build the right confidence, to build the right courage, and you build that role so much it is like literally gravity pulling you to it. You are now going to be drawn to it, and it's going to be drawn to you. It's the law of attraction that will kick in because you're no longer in this fake role. Al Pacino did it. We have a list of, Heath did it. All of these, they give themselves to the role, and then they give themselves to the rules. Don't give yourself to the rules until you know the role. And when you can see yourself in the role, then the rules come automatically. Sharon, you teach your people in your team this, they will literally take off because a lot of people in marketing, network marketing, they struggle with confidence, and so posture, you know, I mean that posture is a big deal. Posture, role development. Because what do you see? What does it look like walking across the stage? That's great. That's a great goal. But the fact is what does that person who walked across the stage imagine what their lifestyle is? Now, how does that person get up? That person, they walk across the stage and they're now getting this quarterly award, and you want that, don't you? Yes, I do. Okay, so you know this person. What's their role? How do they live their life every day? And what do you like? And give yourself to that role, and you'll walk across the stage as well. And it's the rules are always built. Now, rules are hard when you don't have a role, and the rules are very difficult when you don't have a role. So when we have a bunch of people that are rebelling against rules, it's because they don't really believe in the role. They don't believe themselves to be able to fit that role. So we have a lot of statements right now with a lot of people saying, "I can't fit that role. I can't fit that role." I was I was working out the other day, and Saturday Night Live came on. I was working out. Saturday Night Live came on, and they were talking about white privilege, and it was these black people talking about white privilege, and then just certain things that I thought were just would be smart to do, talking properly or doing certain things. It's now being talked down about, and it's now being deconstructed as white privilege, and I'm thinking, I thought that was just intelligent. I thought that was just being intelligent. I thought that was just actually developing as a human. And now you're going to actually tell a whole generation to stop being intelligent and start acting ignorant for the sake of not having white privilege. Why is that? Why is saying that word associated to being white? Well, this is the thing. They're giving permission not to go into a role because they think it's selling out to a role in order to achieve something. But the fact is society should have some humane and very smart and civil ways of communicating, and not to go off on a tangent. But I just want us to know the role that you give yourself to, you won't give it to if you don't believe you can do it, if you don't believe it's for you, and you want to give yourself to it. You want to give yourself to the role, whatever that is. Amen. Very important, very important, very important, very important. Roles versus rules. The only way to reach a goal is become the role. And when you get into the role, there is a big, big shift that happens in your confidence. And there's gravity. Gravity is the best word. There's a pull. There's inertia that will pull you and draw you into that role without your cognitive thinking about it, into that success point without you thinking about the more you think about the rules, the more you have to think about it. It's here. When you get into the role, it becomes here. When people say it's my calling, I heard someone talking about being a chef and it's their calling. I thought, well, that's powerful. That means they're not a chef here. They don't know just recipes, but they're a chef here when something becomes your calling. So let it become your role and get into it.